Hello and welcome to the Pharma Forum podcast. I'm your host, Jonah Comstock. Artificial intelligence is transforming nearly every industry these days, and in biopharma that goes for every part of the business, from research and development to marketing and communications. In today's podcast, sponsored by V7, I'm welcoming Natalia Andreychuk, V7's CEO, to talk about how AI is changing the world of pharma marketing, what opportunities she's most excited about, and some of the areas where the execution of this technology might be challenging. Welcome to the show, Natalia.
Hello, everyone. So it's so great to be here. And thank you, Jonah, for introducing us here at V7. As V7 CEO, my primarily role is to steer the company towards achieving its mission in transformation of the way how our clients, pharma, communicate with their audiences. With the background built in both in technology, psychology, and communication, I'm very passionate about how we can merge every of these tools together to achieve our goals and achieve our customers' goals. At V7, we also focusing very much in providing end-to-end solutions for our current customers within our MarTech technologies to help them to communicate with the audiences through omnichannel communication, through polishing their data, through making sure modular approach and the other approaches which are accelerating content production are in place and properly used and established. And also what is very important, they are stretched, spread over the company so they can really be at the service of our customers. So this is my role and our company doing that together with me for the last 14 years. You can see my background is like a recent birthday, and that's like where we are.
Congratulations. And I should mention up front, for the people who are interested in this conversation and want to hear more, we also had Natalia on a webinar back in April, along with Pavel Klemenko from V7 and Sebastian Mata from CFI. It's a great conversation about omnichannel more broadly, but on the podcast today, we're going to delve deeper on AI. Again, thanks for being here, Natalia. Just to start out, what do you see as the biggest mistakes people make as they try to integrate AI into their marketing efforts?
It's a great question. First of all, let me express the feeling and what I have the recent couple of months already. If you are not mentioning 3 times in your presentation the word AI, and you are not talking about AI, you are not interested for the public. So that's the notification on my personal level. But being serious, so what are the biggest hurdles and what are the mistakes? First of all, we can see like AI is like a baby. It's like 9 months, last 9 months, we are all experiencing and having the privilege to see how it is progressing, right? So that's how like a baby grows. Then what is the mistake? The lack of strategy is not a mistake. It's like we are not coping with the time. The technology is growing and progressing. That's why. So one of the common struggle today is a big belief that AI is kind of a silver bullet which can solve all the problem of the world, which is probably not, but if we put the right clear strategy, what we want to achieve with AI, so what we want AI to solve for us, with us, whatever. So that's one thinking about that. So whatever we have to adjust ourselves. Another big struggle today is high quality, clean data plus data ownership, talking about pharma, about us, as clear, transparent ownership of the data, then cleanest of the data, and we all need to invest into that direction. So because AI thrives on data, and you all understand garbage in, garbage out, right? So we can't afford that. So and that's where we struggle today. And my personal observation, I was probably talking a lot about that on the recent event in Philadelphia. It was Digital Pharma East. We were talking about AI and marketing, and instead of having one big bulk project, it's good to experiment, and I do recommend to start small piloting AI initiatives and scale them and grow them. So experiment, scale them, and build on them. So in that way, we'll be able to build a quite flexible, modern strategy. Plus, we will not neglect a framework of security and other biases we have with towards AI implementation. Plus, we will be able to deal with the data question. So this is the observation.
So yeah, that's a really interesting way to frame it. This idea that that AI it's not a silver bullet, as you say, but it is an enabling technology that can really have positive effects all over the business in different ways. I wonder if we can get into a few of those specifics. One that I thought was interesting is the idea of using AI to help ameliorate physician burnout, to help detect and intercept burnout situations. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's very interesting, and it is not only in this way. So, like with physicians, with the burnout situation, and with the struggles we all have in that, and also fatigue, technology fatigue, and the time dedicated to the patient. So all of these things, how AI can impact on that. So we can eliminate, take out the mechanical, repetitive works we are doing all the time. Like so many software were developed during the last decade just to establish the connection between patient and physician, and to centralize the data, and to make sure like the quality of the treatment is followed, and really versioning, and there's a strict following each patient in the way like the disease could be cured in a time, and everything is tracked, and the history is in there. So, but the time physician is taken to fulfill the note on the computer is a paramount time, right? And then the focus on the patient is like 10 times less than on the screen with the form to be filled and everything like that. So there, like these small little things, like we are talking about, like what to pilot, they can really accelerate the work of physician to make sure there will be like at least no stress, but lower stress, and more time to focus on the patient. So that will be also a positive impact on getting this burnout, because burnout also caused by the technology fatigue, to less time to focus on the real problem, a lot of work which requires a lot of attention, but they are not really should be the focus of the quality time of physicians. So like there should be a patient who is in the focus. So AI is able not only to recognize the patient data, to extract it and to work with it, to fulfill the data and to show the outcome which is needed at this very moment of time of the conversation with this very patient. So means eliminate the time which spent on fulfilling the things. Also, taking this conversation further, once we are developing the materials for the physicians, right? So we do also have a lot of things where AI is disrupting. So to say, we recently introduced content offering tools, and digital asset management as a whole area became very essential for the content strategy for all the organizations. So, and within this emerge of essentiality of the digital asset management in the transformation course, so we understood there is a lot of work, additional work will put on the marketeer's shoulder. Instead of creating a clear message, instead of creating a clear message in personalized way based on the data you're receiving, you're less working with the data and with personalization. You start to work with assembling the different digital assets, and then you can't really focus on the more important things. You are using the tools, you are assembling the assets using we do have one of these platform which is a wizard, and there is another thing. You need to be the expert in MLR, so to make sure that this is the approvable content. You need also to work with across the platforms, and you are a marketer. You need to work with the data. You need to work with the persona. You need to imagine for whom you are delivering, but instead you are too much focusing on how to assemble of what you are delivering. So that's the thing. And AI is very helpful here because we are all understanding that the biggest disruption will be happening in this area where we assemble in digital content. So that means like even to recognize and to slice the content to not to the modules, but even to less than modules, to atomic pieces, and tag it, index it by using the engines like one of the ours. So will help as the future step to assemble the reusable piece, and AI will suggest that this type of information is absolutely approvable because we used all approved images and all approved messages from one central source of truth, which is in most cases Viva Vault Promomeds in our universe. And then you can easily choose from the suggested mechanism, because we do have everything for that. We have our next best action engines. We have tagging, contextual tagging, which can index and tag contextually all the data we can see on the exact piece of the information. We also have the engine which is recognizing the whenever we violate any of the basic medical regulatory approval rules, like whenever we do have any imagery, graphs or messaging which violates any of these rules. Also we can make a spell check, we can make a reference check, and the combination of those. Basically, AI gives us the opportunity to speed up this process like 90%, because we have everything assembled, checked for pre-approval and ready to be submitted. And also we do have, due to this slicing mechanism, we do have the variations. And with AI, from my point of view, we are answering one of the most crucial questions we were not able to answer once modular approach emerged. We were not able to answer what to do with the gazillion of the old content, what we will be doing with it, so where we will be reusing it or not, if yes, so how we convert it from one system to another. So there is the answer, because AI is really good with data, and to make sure the data is in there and it is very clear, transparent, and machine readable atomic way of data. So what do we need in the future? So this is the housekeeping we were talking once again. We have to slice the content into these atomic pieces to make sure we have strategic tagging, but we have also contextual explicit tagging, which is basically indexing, and it's harmonized together. And then we have AI on the top of it in the content management tool, which can suggest you the assembly of all of this with the pre-approval status. So if it is a pre-approvable piece of the information. So there are a lot of more specifics into this, like technology, and we will be able to talk about that more. But conceptually, we almost there, and it's how it is happening.
It seems like AI is really streamlining a lot of aspects of content marketing, taking a lot of the complexity out. And what about the content itself? I mean, so much of the conversation around AI right now is about these large language models, generative AI. What role does AI have to play in helping to craft content?
There are a lot of communications around that, because I have been recently on the master classes where with AI we have literally figured out the new pharmaceutical brand, and then we have figured out the strategy and even the branding strategy and the designs. Like we have been figuring out things like in terms like in 1 hour, 2 hours, like which usually we were working like with months. That's kind of acceleration it could bring. So it's still not a silver bullet, because without human and a human way of thinking. So because as we understand, so we need to put the right framework around that to make sure it is usable. But from marketing perspective, it is absolutely acceleration. This is the acceleration in so many directions, because instead of using your time to talk to the agency about pixelation of certain aspects, like I don't like this color or that, so you are receiving from the perspective of performance, of the content performance. So content performance data will receive more and more importance, and that will be the future, because from the performance perspective, inside each channel, AI will be absolutely friendly to suggest you the best possible permitted, validated combinations of the messages. Designs are applied to the brand identity, and you will be likely see not only from the human perspective, you will be seeing from the data perspective the most performing combinations of the asset. So you will receive a very nice advisors, so how to make the next move. So I can't say it will happen immediately on omnichannel level, but what will be happening inside the channel, it's amazing. So we will take the email. So by the end of this year, we will be able to generate with AI the email, like working email based on this data we have on the emails, and the best performing combinations. We will be having it inside eWizard by the end of the year, and you will be able to generate that email. So I think today, if we will look inside the channel, so we will be able, absolutely, based on the performance of the combinations of the assets, we will be able to generate highly performing assets with AI. Also, we can have a bridge between medical regulatory approvals and the creators of the content. That means, in the past, we experienced the delays of how content was approved only because of the back and forth communication between the approvers and between the creators, and some communication could be also just cut because we will really know what shouldn't go there at all. So where we are mistaken from the day 1, so not the day 10 when you need to deliver. So that's also will be very helpful. The next thing is I think also it's already happening. Our we are talking right now, but it can be some avatar if we have extensive, exhausting training sessions, and we need to prepare also a ton of material and voice over to this material. So some things of that. So and we implemented this stream inside our platform eWizard as well already. So it could be replaced by this video channel, because most of the content today is streaming. People are not reading, people are streaming, seeing the stream, they are listening, so they are not really reading. So I'm really worrying about reading. So because our brains are starting to function in a different way. So that's why this type of content should be created. And this is the content which is easily generated by rendering the existing content, and it's even rendering the avatar, which is also highly customizable. You can choose the whom want you to introduce this particular brand. You want it a girl or a boy, you want it what kind of age, or you have the cultural differences, or you want to choose it. You want also to choose who will be introducing your brands in different countries, and that who will be better speaking to different audiences. And that will also solve a lot of things, because instead of sharing like faceless presentation, and we exactly know in the normal face-to-face visit, when we have a conversation, how many slides can you show? 1, 2, maybe less than 2. Right? So that's the statistics. So that's why AI will be creating a lot of new opportunities for us to hear, to see, and do not have the unnecessary interaction before the interaction happening. So I think this is a pity, but also the acceleration.
Amazing. Yeah, really like just optimizing and connecting to people the way they want to be connected to. So with the time we have left, I want to talk about the other side of the coin here, some of the challenges around AI. Certainly, there's a lot of conversation about potential for hallucination, for bias. What are some of the conversations you've had internally and with others in the industry about making sure that AI is used safely and effectively?
And that's very, very true. And that's why we do support the ethical use of AI. So we have extensive discussions internally and externally about this exact topic, because this is how we shouldn't allow AI to be used without a proper framework in place. And here, like, every customer has their different approach in seeing how this framework must function. What type of data must be accessible for AI? What will be the learning curve of AI algorithm? How we train it? So all of these combinations, there is a general framework. So there has to be their own data. So has to be the validated data. So regular audits, diverse trainings, and collaborations with external experts must be in place. And these strategies must be the part of the framework, right? But on the other side, I see our customers are also not stay indifferent. They are adding to this framework immediately from the corporate governance and their own rules, like business rules, or what should be applied to make sure we avoid the consequences of being too much careless or too much open for the new technology. Because if it is in such the efficiency, there is some danger as well. It's like the speedy driving. So when you got up to speed, you also expose yourself to a certain risk, right? So there is the same with AI. But if you have a framework, right? So like if you're a race driver, you understand at what type of risk you could be exposed to, and you make sure everything is measured, checked, and you are knowing the limits. The same thing with AI. So we are all about acceleration, efficiency, but we should understand where our limits are and where there will be the breach of security and other things. So that's the thing. And I'm happy to see that every of our customers successfully at the moment dealing with this thing. So like acceleration will be happening and disruption in the many spheres as well.
So as we come to the end of our conversation, what are some final thoughts or pieces of advice for folks in the industry who are interested in incorporating AI more than they are already into their own work?
Okay, that's a great one. So, I want to say, the finalizing all the conversation, that the future of healthcare and marketing is undeniably with AI. Like, we are together, we belong there. We want that. We want that. The approach we will use and we are using should not limit human capabilities or should not replace us humans. It should enable us and to make sure we can show our best side, So we need to continue learning, collaborating, and staying on the top of this technology. So this is not a replacement. This is enabling. This is really enhancing. So this is crucial for everyone who's looking into the direction, and every strategy need to have, and the header, we enhance, we enable, we are making better, we accelerate, we not replace. So I hope this provides some headline on how to start building the framework, which will be your secure, speedy driving with AI.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Natalia, for joining us, and thank you to V7 for sponsoring this episode. As I mentioned earlier, if folks want to hear more, I would highly recommend they check out the webinar that we had on the site back in April. It's called How to Cultivate a Successful Omnichannel Strategy, and we'll have a link there in the description of the podcast too.
Thank you very much, Jonah. Thank you everyone who joined and who listening. I do appreciate that. And if you want to contact me and to extend the conversation, always happy to do so. So thank you very much and goodbye.
That concludes this episode of the Pharma Forum podcast. You can find more information about this episode, including a download link and information about other installments in the series, at pharmaforum.com/podcast. The Pharma Forum podcast is also available on iTunes, Spotify, Acast, Stitcher, and Podme, where you can find and subscribe by searching for Pharma Forum. And don't forget to visit our website, where you can sign up for daily news and analysis bulletins, and to follow us on Twitter at Pharma Forum. Thanks for listening.